Hello guys and welcome back to my budget deck channel. With a little disclaimer first, this is obviously not the perfect list to run Adamancipator. You obviously want to run research, or you probably possibly want to go into stuff either with Pot of Extravagance and play like a control-y version, or go into some Halq fight bracks, whatever it plays. But this is meant to be like a budget version. I'm saying like budget kind of weird because it's not that cheap for the fact what it achieves. Like just saying that first, this is not set up 5 negates through any hand traps kind of deck. This is like you want to play in a casual environment. You really like the idea of the deck, but you don't want to spend like what 30 quid for one researcher and possibly even go for 3 then. The deck still works without researcher. Obviously researcher is the best one. I guess that's why it's by far the most expensive, because the other ones basically cost nothing. The deck, like I said, functions without researcher a bit in a different way. It's a bit different. You see Adamancipator Friends is in the deck list. Run one field spell, which you don't have to run, but you can. I like it because it makes your Fossil Diner a bit stronger, which can come in handy, and stacks your deck. So you might get your Synchro Monsters effects life easier because you can put your Adamancipator cards on top. So let's talk about the deck. What cards did I choose? Why did I choose them? What are your standard plays you can play, like you can make with this deck? And yeah, is it good or is it not that great? Well, first of all, I run stuff like Gigantes, the Rock Spirit, and yeah, Mirror Supplier. That's the 3 basically extenders you can search with Adamancipator Friends, because Adamancipator Friends is not once per turn, which can be pretty neat. So these 3 you want to search when you've already used your normal summon, so you can keep going on with that. And I feel like 3 is enough. You can technically play like another Rock Spirit if you want to, but I felt like the ratios worked out that way. Then I play the Miro triple package. You can just go for Miro Guardian at 3 basically if you want to, because I feel like that's going to be as good. It's not, it's a Nibiru protection at least, because you will be summoning more than 4 times. But it's not going to protect you from any form of hand traps, because at the point where you get this card out, you have already been hand trapped probably, and your turn's probably already over, or apparently you're still going when you get this card out. So that's not going to be the point anymore. Good protection from Nibiru, so if you want to play that at 3 and cut these 2 because they don't come in too handy. Like, I mean, stopping a summon can be nice, stopping a spell card can be nice, but obviously that's also like a side deck kind of thing. What do you want to do? What do you really not want to do? For the play starters of the deck, triple Adamancipator Analyzer, triple Seeker, and triple Doki Doki. These are your normal summons, sadly, because you can't summon either of them from hand by special summoning, because they're not Researcher, which is tragic. I mean, going second, you can do the Analyzer play, so that's pretty nice. Other than that, yeah, you want to use the effects then, and if your opponent disrupts you during that, your turn will most likely be dead, because you will not have any cards in the graveyard for Gigantes, for Rock Spirit. You'll probably not get the supplier effect off. You probably will just stare into the void and maybe set some trap cards and see what's going to happen. But yeah, then some cards that do annoy your opponent. Next, Fossil Diner. If you can't get to any setup and just summon out Fossil Diner, that can be nice as well. Obviously, make sure you don't summon it when you still yourself want to do stuff, but that can cause some havoc to some decks to a certain extent at least. Gate blocker, same against like Endymion. It can be annoying because of the spell counters. Can technically be good against Mystic Mine if you go first and they don't have an out to you, whatever it is. Then negating that, I don't know, field spell wise, ABC possibly can be neat, and the targeting protection is also not bad. And one Revival Golem, a very expensive card for the fact that it doesn't do that much, but it's a good target for Miracle Rupture and Foolish Burial, so you get another extender basically with this card. Can be neat. You could cut it. You could cut Miracle Rupture to 1. That card then basically is just there to set up your Synchro Monster plays by dumping the stones into the graveyard that you need. Talking about the stones, I run double the blue one, because the blue one is actually one where you do want to get the effect off. So I do want to make sure I hit this with one of the Adamancipator tuners. So that's why I run it at 2. The other 2 aren't that important. I mean, the Unite and Raptide, like, they can be nice, their synchro counterparts, to actually like disrupt your opponent or get something off, like summon Fossil Diner from your graveyard, super neat. But yeah, usually the amount of stones is good enough. You can always tweak with that one. That there's no limits to your creativity. Doki Doki gets your play started. You can basically dump any of these cards to the graveyard with the effect, and then yeah, use basically you'll summon Analyzer most of the time. You can dump Doki Doki if you have to in hand to get a Seeker, which is not too bad, I assume. That's also play. Miracle Rupture basically just sets up either your Monster Reborn plays, gets Revival Golem to the graveyards, sets your Synchro Monsters plays up, and makes Adamancipator Signs live. Can also be a thing. Signs obviously pretty good. You can stack cards on top of your deck, at least one if you summon an Adamancipator back, which sometimes is handy because you want to go into more synchro plays. Obviously, you can get any of the other cards back. So I feel like this card at 3 is fine because it's not once per turn, so why wouldn't you play it at 3? Foolish Burial, yeah, same reason as Miracle Rupture. Rupture actually with Fossil Fusion, which is a notable card, like mentionable card in this deck, can get you a draw if it goes off. Fossil Fusion, nice going second, still okay going first because it fusion summons from your graveyard, which you will most likely have. Like, it's a form of extender, you summon the level 4. The effect of the card doesn't matter too much, but it's a level 4, so you can go into stuff like Gallant Granite, Abyss Dweller, or whatever if you didn't activate Friends, because Friends is the only card that actually locks you to rock monsters. Otherwise, if you don't use the card, if you use the card afterwards, because it doesn't lock you for the whole turn, it just locks you for the rest of the turn. So if you didn't have to fire it at the start because your starting hand did not have any cards to normal summon, then you can make all kinds of rank 4 and synchro shenanigans before that. So that is why I feel like yeah, I don't know, Fossil Fusion I felt like was a neat inclusion. You don't have to run it. Like the one field spell, you could put any hand champs or whatever you want for this card. I just felt like it is searchable off of Leonite if you already have your trap set up possibly, or you get another name and you get this card and you already don't want another friend because you can't do anything with it, or you don't really, you're not able to set up more plays, then the attack boost can be nice, and stacking your deck either for the next turn or for one of your Synchro Monsters effects is neat. I felt like since this deck was more of a purer version of Adamancipator, yeah, why not include it? But obviously you do not have to. Triple Adamancipator Relief and Triple Adamancipator Resonance, because, well, they are both not once per turn. Not that it really matters with this trap, but it kind of does because they give you like +2. So there's barely a time where you, let's say you have 2 Adamancipator monsters on the field, where you want to pop 3 cards at the same time. So it can be nice having like 2 forms of disruption, like pop 1 card and then like a few plays of your opponent later just pop like another 2 of his cards, and that can really screw him up. So it actually matters that this card isn't once per turn. And yeah, having a counter trap that negates monster effects is nice. You will mainly end on a synchro monster for Adamancipator, so I feel like this card being searchable by Leonite can be neat. You could also just play one and play like double Solemn Judgment, double Solemn Strike, or something like that. That's all up to you. Same with the extra deck. Obviously, you want to play at least one Dragite, at least one Leonite, at least one Raptide, since you can recycle them basically with the effects of the stones. I didn't want to take more because not playing Pot of Extravagance, obviously a card you could be playing technically, but you don't really want to at the moment. And then for the Xyz monsters, Rock Monster, so this guy might come in handy. Gallant Granite, obviously very good to extend further because you can search your Seeker. Sadly, not your Researcher, but Seeker is sometimes fine enough. Like, that still extends your plays by a little bit. Baguska, if you really can't do anything. Giant Hand, because it's a rock monster. You can cut this card because it's fairly expensive because it only got 1 reprint other than it being a price card basically. So yeah, not easy to get this card. The Abyss Dweller, obviously against certain matchups, and Link monsters, you can play whatever you want. I went for the Nightmare package and Yugioh, because getting draws in a controller heavier deck, being able to summon a card from your hand as well can be neat. Will not come up that much. Like, you know, all in all, the deck isn't like the optimal version to play this deck, but for a budget way, I had very much fun to play testing it. I really enjoyed what you can end on. You have to think a lot of the time, like, oh, what do I want to do with these excavates? How far can I extend? What do I actually want to do? And yeah, you end on somewhat between 1 to 3 disruptions, or possibly like a special summon lock with Fossil Diner and stuff like that. It's nice. It's not highly competitive. It's probably on the same level somewhere as Light Sworns. Maybe even a little bit better if we're not talking about Chaos Light Sworns here. but it's very fun to play, and since all the other Adamancipator cards are not that expensive, I felt like making a video about it. Hope you enjoyed it. This video was a bit all over the place, but yeah, I really wanted to share this list. I'm not too confident with it. I'm pretty sure there's people are like, oh yeah, there's way better lists or whatever. That's great. I just had a lot of fun with this list. I just felt like sharing it. Hope you're having a good day.